Welcome to Divine Protection and the Architecture of Temptation, a comparative analysis of the Joseph narrative. We will explore how God builds strength inside a disciple long before a crisis arrives. Our objectives include tracing Joseph's journey, identifying how Genesis chapter 35 through 41 forms a unified narrative, and understanding the, quote, architecture of temptation in Potiphar's house. We will apply these patterns to spiritual formation today. We begin with Genesis chapter 35, returning to Bethel, covenant renewal after chaos. After the moral fallout of the Dinah incident, marked by the silence of God, Genesis chapter 35 reintroduces divine presence. God calls Jacob back to Bethel, the place of his first encounter, initiating the family's healing. This renewal requires purification before worship. Jacob commands his household to put away foreign gods, wash, and change garments. These actions, mirroring ancient temple rituals, symbolize rejecting rival loyalties, spiritual cleansing, and a transformation of identity. God's protective presence and identity are reaffirmed. A, quote, terror of God shields Jacob's family from retaliation, proving divine protection operates even amid moral turmoil. God repeats Jacob's name, Israel, reaffirming his covenant identity, demonstrating that identity and protection converge. Genesis chapter 36 contrasts Esau's line with Jacob's. Esau's descendants gain early political power and wealth. His material success exists outside the covenant, highlighting that prosperity is not the same as divine purpose. Worldly achievement is set against God's unseen redemptive plan. In Genesis chapter 37, the coat and the dreams set the stage for betrayal. Joseph's coat of many colors symbolized his status as legal heir, igniting resentment. His dreams confirmed this divine elevation, making him a lightning rod for jealousy, where human rivalry collides with divine destiny. Joseph was sold for 20 shekels, matching historical slave rates. This transaction exposed his brother's low valuation of him. The torn coat, preserved by Jacob, became a prophecy that as a remnant of the coat survived, so would a remnant of Joseph's seed, symbolizing divine preservation amid betrayal. Genesis chapter 38, the story of Judah and Tamar, is a necessary interruption and theological contrast. Judah marries outside the covenant, leading to spiritual decay. Tamar secures the messianic line. This narrative exposes Judah's hypocrisy and prepares us to appreciate Joseph's integrity in the next chapter. Genesis chapter 39, the architecture of temptation, is studied across Islamic, Jewish, and Christian traditions. These traditions agree that temptation is structured and persistent. Joseph's refusal models covenant loyalty, spiritual clarity, and shows God's presence in the midst of pressure and injustice. The Islamic psychological framework views Joseph's trial as fitna, a refining fire. Hamka details seduction, entrapment, and social amplification. The Burhan, divine visualization, neutralizes instinct. Righteousness requires deliberate resistance, showing that human agency invites divine protection. The sociology of moral decay is evident in the Egyptian aristocracy's conceit and predatory entitlement. Sensory indulgence distracts from systemic injustice. Zuleika's shift to accuser reveals elite hypocrisy, making Joseph a scapegoat in a system that prioritized reputation over righteousness. The metamorphosis of Asenath, Midrash and Hellenistic traditions emphasize her conversion, purification, and renewal. She shifts from arrogance to humility, destroys idols, and is spiritually reborn, becoming a city of refuge that embodies restoration and covenant belonging. We now focus on Asenath, the matriarch of the Nile, the silent Egyptian aristocrat whose story spawned centuries of theological exploration across Jewish, Hellenistic, and Christian traditions. 3 brief verses in Genesis chapter 41 introduced Asenath with minimal detail, presenting a profound tension. How could a righteous patriarch marry the daughter of a pagan sun priest? This narrative gap spurred a millennium of myth-making to explain her inclusion in the covenant line. Historical records place Joseph and Asenath in the Middle Kingdom. Chronological clues point to the 12th dynasty. During this era, West Semitic-speaking individuals were active in Egyptian society. Potipharah was a priest of the sun god Re, aligning with Middle Kingdom religious hierarchies. Rabbinic literature reclaims Asenath as the lost daughter of Dinah. To preserve Joseph's endogamy, details suggest Asenath was the biological daughter of Dinah and Shechem. To protect her, Jacob sent her away with the holy name inscribed on a gold plate. An angel guided her to Egypt, where she was adopted. The Hellenistic diaspora reimagined her story as an epic mystical romance. The novel, Joseph and Asenath, ignores the Midrashic lineage, depicting her as a full-blooded Egyptian aristocrat. She lived in strict isolation in a fortified tower, serving as a private temple to the gods of Egypt. Joseph arrives as a terrifying and radiant solar figure. When Asenath sees him, she is struck by a mix of fear and awe. She recognizes him not just as an official, but as the son from heaven, arriving on his chariot. Joseph is adorned with a golden crown, echoing the iconography of Helios. A heavenly counterpart descends to initiate the transformation. Following her repentance and destruction of her idols, Asenath is visited by an angelic being. The angel is a visual double of Joseph, but magnified in divine glory. This being acts as a divine mirror, preparing her to enter the realm of the living. The angel's initiation: a new name, new food, and a new life. The angel commands Asenath to cast off her past life of idolatry and mourning. He gives her a new name, a new identity, and a divine honeycomb, symbolizing the food of life, preparing her for her union with Joseph. The angel places an invisible mark of holiness upon Asenath. The angel describes the hidden geometry of Asenath's future and seals her for her marriage to Joseph. She is transformed from a pagan aristocrat to a full member of the covenant community, marked by God. Asenath is transformed into a city of refuge, illustrating the theme of purification and new creation. She is no longer a temple for idols, but a sacred space of redemption. Her story symbolizes the power of repentance to rewrite a destiny of spiritual bondage into one of divine purpose. Joseph's journey, in both the canonical and expanded narratives, illustrates that divine protection is comprehensive. God's care extends beyond physical safety to encompass identity, calling, and the redemption of relationships. His protection is holistic, shaping destiny. Divine protection is not a magic shield, but a spiritual architecture. It is built on faithfulness, repentance, and clear identity. Every trial is a brick in the building of character, designed to prepare the disciple for their divine appointment, fostering resilience. The final architectural component is the ultimate confrontation with the brothers. This is where reconciliation, not revenge, seals Joseph's triumph. His final act of forgiveness confirms the restoration of the covenant family. Let us now shift our focus back to the core biblical narrative, where Joseph's faithfulness in the unseen moments prepares him for global influence. In Genesis chapter 40, we see faithfulness in obscurity. Joseph notices the sadness of the butler and baker, showing emotional maturity. He interprets their dreams with spiritual insight. Forgotten for 2 years, obscurity becomes a season of formation, learning patience and quiet faithfulness. Genesis chapter 41 shows Joseph's rise from dungeon to palace, aligning divine timing with human preparation. Pharaoh's dreams baffle Egypt's wise men. Joseph responds with humility, stating, "It is not in me. God shall give the answer." 13 years of suffering refine him into a wise and resilient leader. Our synthesis reveals 3 truths. Divine protection is activated by human agency. God neutralizes adversaries, transforming them into instruments of blessing. Holiness is internal sovereignty. Joseph remains himself in every trial. This architecture of resilience is a blueprint for the soul. In conclusion, Joseph's story is about the God who builds with broken material. He restores covenant identity, redeems family dysfunction, and honors integrity under pressure. Suffering becomes formation, and God transforms enemies into allies through reconciliation and forgiveness. Faithfulness in the fire is the foundation of destiny. Thank you for watching this video. We invite you to follow the panelists on social media at the handles listed here: Monty, Jessica, Timothy, Kiori, and Michael Zitar.